Ooh, here's a name I can say from the Eradicator.
Hello and welcome to this channel, everybody. This is the Eradicator, and first and foremost, I would like to thank everyone who accompanied me during this year's CitizenCon on Twitch. The event took place in the middle of the night for me. It started at 9 p.m. and finished at 6 a.m. and it was really difficult to cover it live due to the fatigue, especially towards the end. So thank you for sticking with me. Now, that being said, it is time for the event's aftermath and the inevitable question: was this year's CitizenCon the best we've had since the start of the project? Now, obviously, I can't speak about the ambience and the live encounter simply because I wasn't there, so I'll stick to the panels shown at the Anvil Auditorium, as well as the tidbits of information regarding what we were told about what was going on in the Crusher Auditorium, which was not filmed live. So first, let's talk about the opening keynote, when we were shown some of the things that we were to expect for Star Citizen 3.8 branch. And I said branch because some of its content will be delivered gradually, such as ships being delivered each month. I think it is safe to say that the one release per quarter policy is officially dead, which I think is a shame, but at the same time I am not against things being released whenever they are ready. Unfortunately, this means that the Karak will be released in February next year. Speaking of the Karak, this is where things, this is where the show really started. As we woke up inside, and I have to say that I absolutely loved its interior. They designed its living quarters like a home, and it does feel like a home, just like the commercial was showing at the very beginning of the presentation. I can totally imagine many players choosing to live in one of Karak permanently. The demo crew then ganged up and took a 100,000 Alpha UEC mission from Tichapachio to steal some data from Microtech and then deliver it to an unannounced destination. The crew then took the ship's feature snubcrat, the C8 Pisces, and flew to Microtech, which looks absolutely fantastic. Microtech is going to include Planetary Tech V4, which, according to the speakers of the tech's dedicated panel, is going to be the final iteration of this tech. This tech allowed the devs to entirely redo all of the current planetary bodies in the game within just 2 months, which is really a short amount of time, so you can really tell that they are very satisfied with it. This tech allows them to perfectly blend biomes in the most seamless way possible, while at the same time making sure that the levels of details they have are seen from long distances, such as low orbit. It also includes climate data such as humidity, temperature, and climatic phenomena such as storm formations, which we will talk about later. This is why, as the Pisces was making its approach to New Babbage, we could see condensation being generated on the canopy, resulting in small water drops flowing over it as the ship was making its way to the spaceport. Speaking of New Babbage, it looks amazing. Very different from its concept, and though the devs explained that they were not happy with the results they had with the concept giant domes, they opted for little ones, which is what we'll be getting in 3.9. And yes, we will not be able to visit New Babbage in 3.8, but we will be able to land on the planet and go wherever we want, including within the city. And yes, no fly zones, as we know, those no fly zones will be gone, and there will be things on the past, and we will be able to go around those empty cities if we want to. Personally, this is not really something that I'll be doing, but I know some of you guys are very keen on exploration, and this is something that a lot of people have been asking. So yeah, this is where feedback, I guess, is important for the devs. The end of this first demo showed us New Babbage's spaceport a little, including the holo greeter, which I found really cool. The demo player then embarked within an NPC-flown ship towards a research facility. I thought that New Babbage and its spaceport are really well done. I love the fact that the spaceport was integrated into a mountain, which is a testbed for the landing zone of an actual planet of another system. This shows that it is feasible to do, and that this will allow the devs to reproduce it to a larger scale. They also shown the hubs of the city, which are cleaner and features windows. Finally, windows. Yeah, we'll be able to look through the window and see what's going on. We also had an early look at what will be within the domes, which is kind of a sneak peek for 3.9. Not much details there, as there is still obviously a lot of work to do. A quick note on Paul Olisar. No, it was not destroyed. In fact, it will have some babies, one around each planet, and they will act as hubs for larger ships to deliver cargo. For example, because not every ship will go down to a planet's surface. I believe that Paul Olisar will be replaced by one of these stations by 4.0 when Crusader is released, if not in 3.8, which is when those other ports will be available to us. Each of these ports, as well as the new rest stop station interiors, will have hubs from which players will be able to respawn, so this is going to reduce Port Olisar's position as the game's most prominent hub. Now, following all of this, you may ask, but Irad, you said that many times that for all of this to be put in the game, we need server-side object container streaming because the servers can't handle anything more. Well, good news, guys. Server-side object container streaming will ship with 3.8 at least. That's the server-side object container streaming V1 will ship with Star Citizen Alpha 3.8. But that's not all. We will also have the first true iteration of persistence across different patches in the form of money and purchase persistence, meaning that starting with Star Citizen Alpha 3.8, everything that we buy in the game will persist into 3.9, 4.0 and beyond, until they really have to clear out the database. I think that this is fantastic news, as it finally gives us a purpose to make money into the game. They mentioned that the next step will be persistence of player-owned assets, such as bases, which is something a huge amount of us are waiting for, including myself, so I suppose that we can expect more on that in next year's CitizenCon, perhaps? Server-side object container streaming will also finally allow for the long-awaited dynamic economy to make its way into the verse, and this is what Tony Zurbeck's panel was all about. In short, we will have over 10 NPCs to 1 player ratio, and this will evolve around the verse based on the various economical environments featured in the verse. They will trade, they will take missions, they will engage in criminal activities or protect people and their fellow NPCs, all based on the law of supply and demand, just like a real-world economy would be. And for those who are not too fond of the verse because they think it is too slow, Sean Tracy also introduced us to the new Star Marine mode called Theaters of War, which combines FPS, ground and space vehicles in an objective-based mission, and it looked awesome. They mentioned that they are also working on game lobbies and better matchmaking, so hopefully it will no longer be near impossible to find a game as it is right now. Chris then concluded the event with what is coming up in the road ahead, the objectives being full persistence and server meshing. No dates were given though. In this last keynote, we had part 2 of the opening demo, and we got to experience some stealth gameplay in which we had to steal the data without being detected by the NPCs. This demo ran with server-side object container streaming, and each of the NPCs were functional and able to respond to their environment properly. You could see it as the alarm rang. They started to scramble to see what was going on. We had our first look at non-lethal combat as well. The animation was funny, but they still have about an entire month to fix it. We then left the facility to go outside, and Macrotech is really cold, like really cold. New Babbage can experience temperatures as low as minus 100 degrees Celsius, with peaks at minus 130 degrees Celsius during sandstorms, such as the one that we are seeing here. Without proper equipment, our characters can die very quickly, so getting the right gear for the right situation is going to be crucial. The new dynamic weather tech, first demoed in 2016, when we had that sandstorm, will finally make its way into the verse early next year, so players will be able to experience these incredible snowstorms on the Macrotech when it is available. The demo finished with some turret combat and a jump to Pyro. We finally got to see jump gates, and yes, this is the same system as in Freelancer with control stations and the actual gate around the wormhole. It was also confirmed that we would have to steer the ship properly into the wormhole. Failing to do so could result in the destruction of the ship. This spot also shown volumetric clouds, which look gorgeous and colorful. Now, it really felt like Freelancer 2.0, which I'm not really sure is a good idea because Freelancer was not always realistic in terms of visual. It was also confirmed that the objective is to bring Pyro to the verse by 2020. I do expect that we are going to see it for CitizenCon next year with a release for 4.2, I would say. And that was basically it for what we saw during this very long event, guys, about 9 hours. I was extremely tired by the end of the event, but it was really worth watching it, guys. Definitely put the link in the description down below if you want to see the entire show on my channel, on my Twitch channel. So then the question is this the best CitizenCon we've ever had? And to be frank, the demo was kind of similar to the demo we had last year. Last year we had this demo that showed us some of the gameplay that was going to come up in future patches for 2019. This is pretty much the same. We've also seen in this demo what is coming up in future patches, and this is why perhaps they have not shown us anything regarding Pyro. We just had a brief outlook of a planet with a rune station not too far from it. But this is not how Pyro is actually going to look like. I think that this was actually a backdrop just to have an idea about how different it's going to be from the system, but they didn't really show us things that are way too far off in the future. So still another very down, ground to earth demo, but the difference between last year's demo and this year's demo is that in 2020 we are going to have some amazing tech that we've been waiting for a very long time that are finally going to make their appearance into the verse. And this is why I believe that this is the best CitizenCon we've had, because we are finally getting to see those techs that we've been waiting to see for such a long time. These techs are getting ready, they are starting to see the light, and they are going to allow the development of the game to really kickstart, to really boom in a way that we've never seen before. And I cannot wait to see what is going to come out in 2020 and 2021. The future is looking very bright, guys, and I am very excited for it. And that's all for this video, guys. Yes, I believe it was the best CitizenCon we've ever had. Please tell me what you think in the comments down below. I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. This is the Eradicator. I am signing out.
Set a route to the ruin station, Sam.
That's the one we
we
see
go.
over there, right?
Ready? All right, Ian. Hit it.
That's it? Oh.
Good job, guys. Good job. Good job. We made it. No crashes. Woohoo! Close one on the...